Let's get this party started. What's good? What is fucking good? I'm back, goddamn it. I ain't been on here in a minute. I don't think. It's been some time, I guess. But yeah, we've been real busy, you know. Over here, we got a lot of shit going on, man. A lot of shit going on. What's good, family? You know, it's like for the past 2 weeks, I got you in a second, Sean. In the past 2 weeks, you know what I mean? We just been really bringing our new acquisitions rep up to speed, doing a lot of coaching, a lot of training, things like that. What up, Ash, my girl? Doing a lot of training and things like that. So I haven't had much time to kind of get on here and kind of do some live calls and things like that. But just want to make sure I tap in. My guy, what's good? What's good? Hey, if you guys don't follow Eddie in Atlanta, you better follow Eddie, man. Big time player right there. So we just been tapping in. I just want to tap in today. Like I said, we got a lot going on, new acquisitions. We still training them up, coaching them up a little bit. Also been looking at office spaces. We're going to expand a little bit as well. And the reason why initially the idea was to do everything virtually and do it from home. But I came from a position where there was a sales floor. And when I tell you the culture is very important when it comes to phone sales, and being, you know, because if you're stuck in your house and doing, a lot of people don't be as motivated. So it was a great idea for us to kind of move forward and kind of make the decision to get an office where we have a community inside and have a culture together as we begin to grow. And then eventually that's when we kind of break off, but and start overseeing things that way. But that's kind of what we've been doing. We got a 2-day workshop that we're going to next week. That's going to help us change our business and how we doing our things right now. Very excited about that. About to get some game about systems and operations and processes, the whole nine. So excited about that because we're learning. But yeah, we just got a lot going on, man. Just a lot of shit going on. We still active. You know, closing deals and whatnot. We got one supposed to close tomorrow. We had one last week. We got a couple under contract that we're working through right now. We actually just got one signed today under contract. So we're going to go ahead and dispo that. We got some contracts out that we got to hunt down that we're working on not doing that anymore, sending them out and got to chase these contracts down. So there's a lot of adjustments that's going on right now. What's going on, people? There's a lot of adjustments that's going on right now. On our end that we're, you know, like we're not even a year in yet. So, Property Jet been in business. It'll be a year, April 4th. That's when the entity first started. So, we're approaching that year mark. So we're looking to do things a little bit differently on a bigger level, just so we can goddamn grow this thing on out. You know what I mean? But, I just want to jump on here. If you guys got any questions about anything, go ahead and tap those questions in. You know what I'm saying? I'll get to them. My cuz on here. What up? My boy Nard. What up, cuz? Ty on here. I got family in here. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of growth. You know what I'm saying? When you in this business, you got to grow. You got to have the ability to, you know, adjust, to change. You got to have the ability to make things happen, to shift what you're doing. You can't be stuck in your ways in this business. I promise you can't. My guy Bernardo, what's up, my dude? You can't be stuck in your ways. So you gotta be flexible. You gotta change, and things like that. So that's kind of what we're doing is doing it for the better. So a lot coming up here soon, that we're going to be working on. But like I said, you guys got any questions, make sure you comment them down. Hopefully I want you guys to comment them in the question box. That way I can track them a little bit better. Just make sure you comment the questions in the question box so I can get to them, because if you don't, I have to scroll and it looks stupid doing it. So, yeah, just comment the questions in the question box. If you go to it's a little question mark to the right at the bottom of the screen. So comment your questions there. And then another thing that it does too, and when you comment them in the question box, I can pull it up for everybody can see it. just in case somebody else may have the same question that you may have too. So it's fucking hot in here, but it's gonna get hot. So y'all know me, I gotta have my truly, you know what I'm saying, to get this thing started. But before we get into everything, you know what I like to do. We got about 20 some people in here right now. It's a great opportunity to network in the real estate industry. Your network is your net worth. So if you guys are tapping in, please comment what market, what city, what state that you guys are working out of. What do you do? Are you a realtor? Are you an agent, broker, investor, wholesaler, buyer? You know, things like that. Just comment down in the comment box, your city and your state and what you do. And then if somebody is in that area or work in that area, you guys can connect and break bread and make some money together. You know what I mean? Me and my partner, we met on Instagram. So take the opportunity to connect and network and things like that. So y'all go ahead and comment what market you guys are working out of as I prepare to get the thing going with the calls and stuff like that. All right. Working on the deal today. So yeah, we got Seattle in the building. Who else we got? What other people we got in here? Where y'all at? East Orange, New Jersey, agent. Okay, we got agents in the building. Atlanta, that's where I'm at. Elise, shout out to Elise in Atlanta. If you got some deals, send them my way. We can work. We got buyers. We got Philly in the building. All right. Y'all connect with Philly. I know a lot of people doing things in Philly. My guy Yassine. Y'all tap in with Yassine, man. I remember Yassine. He was a little young whippersnapper. Now he killing it, man. We trying to push him to lead at 9 to 5. He bullshitting, but he got a goal set, so he gonna stick to that. So I'm gonna let him do his thing. He's gonna lead that soon. My guy Eddie, yup, y'all tap in with Eddie, man. This dude is a beast. One of the best guys to network with, connect with. His network is wild. You know what I mean? So if you guys don't know Eddie, you know he's a sleeper on social media, but in real life, he the dude. I promise you. Metro Atlanta. So we got a lot of people in Atlanta in the building, man. We all need to be tapping in with each other. And if you're doing deals in Atlanta, tap in. It's all about connecting. We got Sean right here, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, buyer and wholesaler. So we got some folks in here. You guys tap in with each other. But let me go ahead. I'm gonna make a couple calls real quick. So my calls is a mixture of a few things, right? I got some new leads I got to call today. That I haven't spoken to yet at all. I have a couple people that came in a while ago, haven't gotten them on the phone at all. I got some seller follow-ups that I'm building a relationship with in the pipeline. What up, John? That I'm building in the pipeline. That I haven't made any offers to yet, or they may not be ready to sell just yet. Different things like that. Just building that relationship and keeping that connection, that rapport. Then I have a couple offers that I sent out that I have to follow up on. I have a couple contracts out there too that I'm trying to hunt down and chase, and things like that. But other than that, that's the mixture of the calls that I'm gonna be going through today. And I'll kind of let you guys know what call is what. Typically, I like to start. It don't even matter. I start with everything because I'm gonna try to get them knocked out anyway. So, let's see. I'm gonna start with these offer follow-ups. These are ones that I made offers to that I gotta grab. I gotta grab these motherfuckers, right? Because I sent the contract out. So this dude, I sent the contract out like a week ago, and it was my fault. I didn't ask him anybody else that he need to talk to. He talking about he need to talk to his wife. So let's see what's up with this dude. If you guys can hear it, give me a thumbs up. Come on, man. Answer.
Forwarded to an
All right, so he ain't call. I'm gonna double call him real quick because he been ignoring me. He been ghosting me, man. So some of you guys be having questions about ghosting, and this is what I do: follow up, call him. So he ain't answering, but I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna call him back again later on this evening. So it's 3 o'clock now. I'll probably call him back again at around 6. I called him already this morning at 10:40. I called him already at 1 o'clock. I called him at 3, and now I'm calling again at 6. So this is what I mean by, you know, if you got an offer out, you got to follow up. You got to be relentless and consistent with that shit. So, and not give a damn. If they're not answering, then how can they be pissed off? You know, you got to tell me that you pissed off. So let me go ahead and set that up real quick. If you got questions, make sure you put them in the question box. I know you guys are typing in here, but I don't want to keep scrolling up. You know what I mean? So just comment your questions in the question box so I can get to it. So I won't miss it. I'll make sure I get to everybody's question today. I'm not going to stay on here too long because I got to do something soon, but I'm going to be on here for a little bit. I'm going to go through another call real quick. Let's see. Boom. Let me call my girl right here, see what she's talking about. She be working all the time. So I'm going to just shoot her a little text message and say, call me when you're free. So let me see. I'm going to do one more and then I'll get to the questions, all right? So load your questions up in the question box. I'm going to do one more. I want to get somebody on the phone first and then we'll go from there. So I got this lead right here. This lead actually came from my boy. I don't know if he's still in here, but my boy, he sent me this lead over. It's a family member of his. And I'm trying to get her to sign with us, but she got some issues with like probate and things like that she's working through. But she wants to work with somebody else. I got a good offer for her, but she's just like, So she's trying to get more money, essentially. You know, she wants more money, but the house isn't worth more than what I'm giving it to it. So, you know, she wants ARV, but the shit needs work. So it's like, I can't pay you ARV. You're not going to get ARV. So I'm just trying to, right now, the game plan is to just stick firm to it. Say, listen, here's the best offer we can do. I'm going to check in and see where she at in her probate phase right now. Because last week I talked to her. She said she's going to go back to the courthouse to kind of figure out what's going on there. So I'm going to hit her up and ask her about that. That's first. And then second, I'm going to just stick her with the best offer that I got. And then be like, listen, this is on the table. If not, let me know. You know what I mean? So we're going to make the call on that. Let's see what she says. And I built a good relationship with her, you know what I mean? Especially since she's my boy's, aunt. So make sure you guys are telling people what you do, man, because they can send you leads and shit like that. You know, I'm trying to break bread with my boy for sending the lead over. You know what I mean? So let's see what she's talking about. She ain't gonna answer right now.
Hey, sir.
Hey.
Sir, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can I call you back in about 5 minutes when I get in my car?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, so she says she's gonna call me back, so we'll wait on that. Let's see. So I think that's all I had. Let me do this one. So let me get to these questions real quick. Y'all loading them up. All right, I'm gonna do a few because I gotta stay productive. You know what I mean? Gotta stay productive. I can't answer. I gotta go back and forth. I gotta hop back and forth. So Solanos BS7, where do I start? Where do you recommend so we can get some leads? So if you're in the very, very beginning stages, what you need to do your research on how this process works. You need to understand the concept. So whether you go on YouTube, search, how to wholesale real estate from A to Z, whether you grab an ebook, I have one link in my bio from A to Z, whether you read some documents or articles on Google, you need to understand the concept. You need to understand the process. From there, come back, and then we can talk. But from there, you need to educate yourself on how this shit works, what you're trying to accomplish, and what you're trying to do. I put in hours and hours of time understanding what this shit was about and how to do it. So definitely get started there, and then you just start taking action. You know what I mean? And you know, you get going from there. Let's see. Jovan Champion, are you still going to the county for records? How many leads are you getting from them? So right now we're not. We pull all of our properties off of Propstream, but we will start to implement going to the county probably next month sometime, just so we can get some more data from other sources, so we can have more options as far as like who we targeting and things like that. But right now we're not doing the county right now. Boom. Let's see what else we got. Camp Demo. Seems like the seller would be more hesitant to just sign the contract. Hold on. Okay. You had another part of the question. Damn, you got a long question. Hold on. Let me see. I'm going to go back to that later because it's long. Houston Underground. Can you show how your Podio is set up? If you hit up my guy, Mike, Real Estate Mike, he can give you a breakdown of how the Podio is set up. I'll show it briefly, but the only reason is I can't show you completely is because I got this filter on it that's blurry, so you probably won't see the whole shit like you should. But I'll give you a breakdown really quick, man, really quick. So we have separate workspaces. We have a couple of different workspaces. And in each workspace is dedicated for a certain thing. So we got an acquisitions workspace. We got an administrations workspace. We got a dispositions workspace. And we also have like a lead manager workspace. So essentially what that means, there's a process from when the lead first comes in, and it's a flow essentially. So it comes into the lead manager. From the lead manager, you then kind of distribute it to the acquisitions once you get in contact and get notes and things like that, building rapport and following up. And then once you get a contract locked up, then it kind of goes over to the disposition side. And then that's when you start working with buyers and getting offers and sending out the buyers and things like that. And then the admin side is just keeping track of the revenue, the marketing dollars spent, KPIs and things like that. So that's essentially the breakdown of it. But if you want, I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's a little bit in depth, but if you're interested in getting the exact visual on what it looks like, definitely hit up my guy, Real Estate Mike. He's the one that set it up for us, and I'm pretty sure he can set it up for you too. You know what I mean? So just give him a call. Not give him a call, but hit him up on DM, and he'll set up a Zoom call with you to show you how it looks and how it operates. So I hope that helps, man. Let me see. Life of DJ TV. Are you using a mic to talk on calls? I've been using a headset, looking for different options. That's subjective. Me, I used to have the mic. I used to have the headset, but I didn't like the shit on my ears. So mostly I'm talking on speaker. So it's all up to you, however you want to do it. But it also depends on what your dialer system requires. So if you're doing cold calling, you may need to have your headset in to do the cold calling. So it just all depends on the software and what the software requires. So when I'm doing my follow-up calls, I don't like to have a headset in. I don't like to have anything in my ears. Most of the times I like to talk through my computer. And even when I'm talking to people on the phone, I like to talk to people on the phone on speakerphone. But that's just my preference. So whatever works for you, do it. There's no right and wrong way for that. Hope that helps. Let me see. What's the next one? Let me get to this long one right here. So here we go right here. So it says Camp Demo. If you're doing this virtually in another state, how do you avoid this? Or how do you flip the situation to where the seller is comfortable doing business with you? Because if a seller is adamant in seeing you, how do you explain to them you're in another state virtually? That was part 2 of the question. So let me check this part 1 out for the context. Camp Demo again. So here's the context behind that. The other day you had one of your members talk to a seller who didn't like that everything was virtual, and he was able to reassure the seller that somebody could go in person and talk to him directly and talk business while reviewing the properties. Okay, and that's when the second part of the question came out. if you're doing this virtually. Yeah, so essentially you do it the same way, dude. Like a lot of people, they overthink the concept. They overthink it. So I had somebody ask me this shit the other day, like, well, how are you coordinating inspection if you're virtual? You do it the same way. You coordinate the time with the seller, you coordinate the time with the buyer or the person doing the inspection, and then they go. If you're not there, you can do one or two things. You can not be there at all and let them know, say, hey, I got another property I'm going to be at this time. I'm not going to be able to make that one. So you can do that, or you can send somebody if you don't feel too comfortable, you can send somebody out there. You can get boots on the ground, have a connection with somebody on boots on the ground in that market to where they can take photos for you. They can go to these properties to get contracts signed if they need to. They can show properties to buyers and things like that. So if you're doing it virtually, that's a person that you necessarily have to have on your team. So if you don't, I recommend you find somebody in that market that can do those things for you. So those are two different things. You know what I mean? So if you have a seller that's adamant on, signing papers in person, well, you just have one of your boots on the ground, go out there and meet them and get the shit done. At the end of the day, we have to provide solutions. You know what I mean? And solutions not always going to be seller related as far as their situation with their house. Solution is, okay, how do we get this shit signed? How do we get this shit closed? Things like that. So at the end of the day, the problem solvers are the ones that's going to win this game. And sometimes you have to be creative and you have to think out of the box to make shit happen. So I hope that helps, man. If that helped, just let me know. Just give me a thumbs up or some shit. And if that helped anybody else, just drop a thumbs up in the comment too. At least to you, do you only get your leads from Propstream? Yeah, so right now, that's the only way we're getting our leads. For the most part, we get referrals every now and then, but primarily we pull in a big list from Propstream and then we're calling them up. And that's how our leads are coming in. But we're going to be exploring like other options. Like I said earlier, going to the courthouse, tax code violations and shit like that. That's what we're going to be working on soon. Hope that helps. That boy Harry, how much do you pay your VAs and where are they from? So right now, we have 2 virtual assistants. The first one that we hired, we pay, and they both from Philippines. They're overseas. The first one that we hired, she's getting paid $7 an hour. The second one that we hired, we start him out at $5 an hour, but we had an incentive that once he closed his first deal, then we'll bump that up to $6 an hour. So right now, he closed his first deal last week, so now he's at $6 an hour. So simply put, we paying one $7 an hour and we paying another one $6 an hour. So I hope that helps. Let's see what else we got. GB Smooth, what list are you pulling? So we're pulling very broad. So primarily we're pulling high equity lists, we're pulling tenant occupied, and we're pulling vacant, just like everybody else, right? So those are the primary lists that we're pulling for the most part. And we've seen the most success with the ones that are tenant occupied, or those sellers that own a primary residence and they own one other residence, whether it's tenant occupied or vacant. So that's kind of where we've been seeing the most success as far as like a seller avatar. Let's see. No problem. Here we go again. Let's go. Houston Underground. When the prospect calls the cold caller back, does it go to a pre-recorded voicemail or does it go to the agent so they can answer the call? So yeah, so we have it set up. So depending on your dialing system that you have, you can set up however you want. You can set it up to go to a voicemail. You can set it up to go to like a IVR. Rogelio, my dude, what's up, man? But we got it set up to where if a seller calls back, it goes to a queue and then it goes to that agent once they're available to take the call. So yeah, we have to keep the calls coming into the agents. Good question there. Haven't had that one before. You skipped me. Sean, answer the question again. I forgot, dude. Answer the question again. My bad. I'm getting to it. Oh, here it is. I got you, Sean. I got you. Sean, S&J Property Group. Let me be specific. How many leads does your VA do a day? So we have two of them, and it just all depends. So I would say anywhere between 6 to 10 leads a piece is where they're at. They're averaging about 6 to 10 leads a day. It just all depends on the day though. But yeah. Joaquin FC, how do you get over fear of cold calling? So first, you have to be willing to make the call, right? So why are you doing this shit at the end of the day? You got to think about your vision and why are you doing it? Because this is not for somebody who just wants to do it just cause. You got to have a goal. You have to have something to achieve. You have to have a reason on why you want to jump into this, because cold calling is not fun. It's very tedious. It can be demoralizing at times. You're getting cussed out. You're getting hung up on. It can be very negative at times, but you got to think the end goal always in front of mind. So why are you doing it? And then secondly, you have to be prepared, right? So what I mean by prepared is you have to understand what you're trying to accomplish. What are you calling this person to do, right? What are you trying to achieve? So when I'm calling people, hey, do you want to sell your property or not? If you don't, okay, I'm going on to the next person. And you got to change the mindset. The idea is to find people who want to sell, not deal with the ones that don't. So once you change that mindset, then you'll be able to talk to more people and do it more confidently. And then the next thing is, have you a script. Understand, have a flow of the conversation. You know what I mean? Have a flow of the conversation. Have a good script. I have one and link in my bio. It's at a good price. It's exactly what our cold callers use. This is what we use for acquisitions as well. So have a script. You know what I mean? You can cheat when you cold calling. They don't know that you're looking at a script. You can cheat. When we're calling AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, all these different places, Verizon, we're talking to people and they on the script. You see what I'm saying? So think about your why, right? Be prepared, have a script. And then, getting over the fear, you just have to keep doing it, put in the work. I mean, if you're not doing it, then how can you not be afraid anymore? You see what I'm saying? So those are the few things to overcome that fear. Hope that helps, man. If it helps, drop something in the comment box. Let me know. Let's see. 6 to 10 leads per day. 6 to 10 leads per day each. So we got to that one already. Let me see what else we got. Let's see. Modern Key Prop. My guy, you doing some serious work. I've been following. I'm a startup wholesale, just getting started. My question is, I'm from Toronto. Would I be able to virtually wholesale from here doing U.S. properties? And if anyone out here from Canada, I want a network, I'm open to it. Yeah, so I know somebody, her name is Liana. She works out of Canada, but she's on the west side. And she wholesales actually in like Baltimore, New Jersey and shit like that, Philadelphia, I think. And she's killing it. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can wholesale, U.S. properties if you're in Canada. See what else we got. I'm gonna go through these real quick. Big Key 2X. When do you think is the best time to make calls? When did you start utilizing a VA and where did you find them? 3 questions. So the best time to make calls, I found the best time to make calls is like between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also on Saturdays, 11 o'clock to like 3 o'clock. So those are the best times I've seen to make calls. Let's see. What else? Who else we got? Oh shit, I forgot the rest of the question. My bad. And then the other part of it, when did you start utilizing a VA? So I started utilizing a VA after I got my first deal closed. I used me getting my deal closed as motivation to get the VA. So I was like, hey, once I close my first deal, that's when I'm going to take that money. I'm going to reinvest it back into the business. So I reinvested into getting a VA, hiring a VA. I reinvested into getting my company credibility set up. What I mean by credibility, I mean website, merchandise, business cards, all that shit like that, right? That's what I use my money to reinvest. And then I also reinvested into getting more data so my VAs can have enough information to call to keep them occupied and keep them busy without going over the same property owners over and over and over again. And then the last part of that question, where did I find them? My first VA, I went on this Facebook group called REVA, R-E-V-A, Real Estate Virtual Assistant. Put a post in there, had about 50 people reach out to me. I took, the best 6, interviewed them up, and then I came across her, and she's been with us ever since. It'll be a year in May. So she's been with us for about a year. But yeah, that's where I found it. And then my second VA was a referral, a recommendation from her. So it wasn't that hard to get a second one. But I hope that helps. If that helps, drop a thumbs up in the box. Let me know if it helped anybody else. Drop 100 in the box. Let's see. Here you go again. Big key. Do you have a breakdown of what you train your VAs to ask? So essentially, it's my same script. You know what I mean? So I have a cold calling script in my bio. If you want that, that's exactly what they use for their cold calling. So that's exactly what they use. Verbatim, you know what I mean? But over time, they're going to be good enough to be like, okay, I know exactly what we're trying to do. So sometimes they get off script, but they make sure they gather as much information as possible for us to look at when we're making our follow-up calls. But yeah, so if you guys want a script, just click the link in my bio and grab it. Let's see. Wavy Geo. Did you close that deal with that guy who wanted 200K and you guys offered 120? Nah, we ain't closed it yet. That was just an initial conversation, really. He was one of the guys that like, hey, if you want my property, you need to come look at it. I'm not signing anything on the computer. I gotta do everything in person. So we went out there. It wasn't too far from us. So we was like, fuck it, let's go check it out. And the property needed way more work than we thought. But essentially the deal is not dead yet because, it's funny because actually when Mike offered him 120, the dude was pissed. He was like, I'm gone. No, I'm out. But then I came in behind him and kind of explained like, hey, this is where we need to be at on price and this is why. Then I also, what I did to kind of save the deal is I offered him financing. So I told him, I said, hey, we can pay your price, but we have to do it over a period of time. We'll give you a down payment and then we'll do monthly installments over a period of time. And that kind of opened his eyes up a little bit and kept the door open. So the game plan with him is, he said he's going to reach out to other people or kind of listen in to some other offers, but nobody's going to offer him $200,000 cash for that. So we already know that best case scenario, he's going to come back to us anyway. So the game plan, follow up with him in like 30 days. He told us to check back in and see where he's at. So that's what we're going to do with him. That's a short story long. My boy Jay Biz. How do you and Mike allocate your profits from each closed deal? Percentage breakdown for taxes, reinvesting, your pay, etc. So we do ours. You can do yours however the hell you want to, right? So, and then we kind of change it as we go along too. So our breakdown, I think I did a video on this too on my page, but our breakdown is 40% go to me and him. So he takes 20, I take 20. I got to look at the shit again. Hold on. Let me see. I got to look at it. Hold on. Cause I forget. Hold on. I like to get accurate information for y'all, man. Accurate information. So let me pull it up for you real quick. I'll let you know exactly how we got it split up. And then, but like I said, you can do it however you want to do it. You know what I mean? However you see fit. Let's see. So the way we got it set up, so our profit is 40%. So me and him, we split that down the middle. So that's 20-20. Then we got a miscellaneous account. So miscellaneous, that goes for like merchandise, that goes for food, just random shit. That's 5%. Operational expenses, our OPEX is 25%. So we put 25% back into the business for marketing and for our team, for finding new leads, for pulling lists and things like that, marketing. And then we have a net account, which is 30%. That's where we building our nest egg. That's where we putting the money at, for the company profits. You see what I'm saying? And we're building that up. So that changes over time. And then typically you want to account like 30% of your own for each. You get taxed separately. You know what I mean? You want to account 30% of that. So out of your profit, your 20% profit, in my case, I'm taking 30% of that and I'm putting it to a separate tax account. So when Uncle Sam comes rolling around, like, hey, Ty, you owe us X. Then I'm like, hey, I got your X. You know what I mean? But everybody's percentage on their taxes is different. You have to kind of talk to your accountant, your CPA, whatever, so they can get your exact percentage on what you need to be putting aside for that. So I'm not that. So you need to talk to that person. I don't want to give you the wrong information, but rule of thumb, what I was told is to put aside like 30% towards personal taxes. But yeah, hope that helps, man. If that helps anybody, go ahead and drop 100 in the comment box. Let me know what's up. Let me know that you're learning. If you guys have questions, put them in the question box. I'm not answering any questions in the chat box because I can't get to them. I don't want to do too many scrolling. Too much scrolling. Miss_Jules. Do you use Deal Machine and do you use it virtually? So initially starting out, I used Deal Machine, but that's only when I was driving for dollars. I don't do that anymore because I don't have the time to. I'd rather pull a list from that area and then fucking, skip trace it and then call it. So that's my whole thing on driving for dollars. So I don't use Deal Machine, but I have used it before. I don't have any issue with it. Actually, Deal Machine does work because when I first got started, I used Deal Machine. I found a property and I sent the little postcards through Deal Machine and the seller received it. So I would say Deal Machine is solid because I have used it before, but I don't do it now anymore. Hope that helps. Are VAs 1099 or W-2? They're 1099. They're qualified as contractors. Emilio Invest. We just closed our first deal. Let's go. Today was closing. That's my guy. Shout out to you, my boy. Let me tell y'all something about Emilio real quick. I remember Emilio. Emilio was in the lives when I first got started doing the lives. This motherfucker would come in here all the time, asking questions, learning the game. But the most important thing that he did was implement. You know what I'm saying? He took action from that. So everything that he learned, he soaked it up and he applied it. I see Emilio every day. He used my discount code for the call tools. He's posting every day on his story. His VA's bringing in new leads. So he's slowly but surely building his business. And it all came from, not all of it, but a lot of it, a good bit of it. Well, I had some influence. I'm going to take a little bit of credit, Emilio. But it came from taking the information that he's learning from shit like this and actually applying it. The key is applying it. The key is you have to apply the information. If you're just going to sit in here and just listen and not do shit after it, then it's wasted. It's wasted. You know what I mean? So shout out to my dude. You know what I mean? You deserve it and many, many more, man. I love that, man. Love to see people win. Leali? I can't even pronounce that. I'm sorry. Leali? I'm sorry. What's your monthly budget for marketing as of right now? For marketing, we're looking at, so I'm only going to count marketing as far as what we're paying our virtual assistants because we don't pull lists every single month. So we're looking at probably around $2,000 a month for our marketing that we pay for our virtual assistants. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. That's not including like data, skip trace, and anything like that because we don't do that on a monthly basis. Hope that helps. Let's see. What is be saved? Will this be saved? I'm assuming you mean will this be saved? I'm going to save it for a little bit and then I'm going to post it on YouTube. The whole thing. All right. My boy JC, do you see more buyers paying for non-distressed properties instead of those ugly houses? So here's the thing. So when you are wholesaling, right, you need two types of buyers. Well, essentially three. You need three types of buyers, really. You need the hedge funds buyers or the institutional buyers. You need your local buyers, and you need like your buy and hold or fix and flipper buyers. But primarily, you need two types of buyers: the hedge funds, the big guys, and the local buyers, the little guys. You know what I'm saying? Because the hedge funds, they're the ones that's going to buy the ones that don't look as bad, right? They're going to buy the ones that need minimal repair at a higher price. They're buying those at a higher price. But your local guys, you still need the local guys because if you come across any vacant, distressed, beat up houses, the institutional buyers or the hedge fund guys, they're not buying those shits. The local guys will buy it because they're into fixing and flipping. They open to that. But if you get them at a good enough price, your local guys are going to buy that shit. But the hedge funds, they're not going to do it. So typically you need those two type of buyers on in your buyers list. So you can identify, okay, whenever a lead comes in, you can identify, okay, this is a good opportunity for a hedge fund or this is a good opportunity for a local investor. But you still want to build those relationships with both. You know what I mean? More so the local guys because the hedge funds, they change their criteria all the time. So you can be screwed trying to work off of what they're looking for. And then now you're in a situation. You don't want to be in those situations. So go ahead and get those two different type of buyers so you can analyze your properties and see, okay, who's it going to be a good fit for. So I hope that helps, man. If that helped anybody else, just drop something in the box so I can know that everybody's getting some kind of gain from that. I got to make some more calls in a second. Hold on. Y'all keeping these questions coming. I like it though. Here go another question, part 2. Leali. I got to get that right. Also, how have you guys done deals by using creative financing yet? Not just yet. We're actually in the process of working on it. We actually learned how to do it, and we're in the implementation phase. So if we're giving cash offers first, if they're not taking the cash offer, then we're going to, give them the seller financing or creative option. You know what I mean? Some people are open to it. Some people are not. Some people are like, I don't like the terms or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you got to put it out there. The more offers you make, the more, the opportunities you're giving yourself. So hope that helps. Let's go to the next one. Do you QuickBooks for bookkeeping? I'm assuming. Yeah, we use QuickBooks. Our CPA required us or recommended us to use QuickBooks, so that's what we use. Let's see. Alchemy of Josh. If you had to restart today, how would you get your first deal as soon as possible? What moves would you make to ensure you're moving as efficiently as possible? I love this question because I think once everybody jumps into this industry or jumps into this kind of field with wholesaling, you try to cut corners, you try to be cheap. If I were to start over today, or essentially, what will help you get your deals faster is you need the tools. You know what I mean? And the analogy I like to use is, you can't build a house without your hammer. You can't build a house without, nails and things like that. You know what I mean? So you need your tools. So the best thing to do, if you're going to do cold calling or you're going to do SMS, get you a software where you can do that efficiently. If you cold calling on your phone one by one, you're wasting a lot of fucking time. I promise you that. If you're sending text messages one by one, you're wasting a lot of fucking time. So first thing, for your marketing, you need to have the software where you can be efficient in reaching out to sellers. And what I mean by efficient, I mean getting in contact with as many sellers as possible in a shorter period of time. So the softwares with the power dialers and your SMS softwares, they're sending out 200, 300 SMS messages in an hour. Your dialers are calling 80, 90, 100 people in an hour. That's more efficient. You need that efficiency to get your deals faster. So that's the number one thing. So you have to pay for the software. Pay for the fucking software. The second thing was people struggle with comps and shit, right? So you need the software to do comps, or get in connection with a real estate agent or somebody that has access to the MLS so you can do accurate comps. Stop using fucking Zillow. Stop using fucking realtor.com and Trulia and all that stuff. You can use those, but that shouldn't be your initial or primary option for running comps, right? Because Zillow is only going to show you what sold on Zillow. Trulia is only going to show you what sold on Trulia. Realtor.com is going to show you what sold on Realtor.com. If you want accurate comps, get either Propstream, batch leads, or get access to the FMLS with the network connection with an agent, so you can get accurate information when you're running your comps. So that's the main thing. And then the last thing I would say is skimping and not paying for data for the skip tracing. So what I did, I had a list of about 250, and I wanted to be cheap on the skip tracing. I wanted to not pay for skip tracing. So I did all the skip tracing manually. Went to the website, found the numbers, manually put them on a spreadsheet. That shit took me 4 hours. That shit took me 4 hours. When I could have just put the skip tracing, put that 250 addresses in a skip tracing service, hit purchase, and I would have got them in 3 minutes. Then I would have been calling. So you have to pay to play. I don't give a fuck. All these people talk about is no money, all this and that. That's bullshit. You need money to do it efficiently. Now, if you're trying to take forever to do it and do it free, can you get a deal done? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if you want to get a deal done quicker in a shorter period of time, you need the tools to get it done. So That's essentially, what I would do if I restart today. And then lastly, make offers to everybody that you fucking talk to that say, hey, I want to sell my property. You got to make the fucking offers, because if you don't make the offers, you're not going to get the contracts. So a lot of wholesalers, or what a lot of people do, they call people, they raise their hand and say they want to sell their property, but the wholesaler doesn't call back and give them an offer because they feel like the offer is too low. And they feel like that seller is going to get mad or upset or whatever the case may be. The offer is not low. It's a fair offer based off of the condition of the property. Now, most of the time, these sellers are asking high ass prices. So, but that comes with the knowledge of your market, the knowledge of what the comparables are in the area. So if a seller tells me they want $250,000 for a house, when I know the ARV after it's fixed up is $200,000, I already know that motherfucker is bullshitting me. So I'm gonna go ahead and offer him 100, because I know at 100 is gonna get the deal done. So when you're making your offers to these sellers, don't look at it from the aspect of I'm lowballing or this is a low price. Look at it from the mindset of, hey, this is a fair price based off the condition, based off the area. And at the end of the day, in order for the deal to get done, the number has to work for us, the wholesaler, at the end of the day. Because if the number doesn't work for us where we can push it off to a buyer, then it's nothing we can do with that seller. So make the fucking offers. So that's the keys that I would do at the end of if I were to start over. And it took me a while to realize that, man. It took me a while. That's right. They can only say yes or no. But I hope that helped. If that helped anybody else, please comment 100 in the comment section so I can know that you guys are listening and I'm giving out some kind of value. Alchemy of Josh, how do you source hedge fund buyers? So we find our hedge fund buyers off of Propstream and the FMLS. So when you go on Propstream and you click link properties and you see a company that owns 3,000-4,000 properties, open your eyes, red flag, that might be a hedge fund. But now you have to do your research and dig on how to find the contacts and find out who the actual hedge fund is. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole story situation right there that I ain't gonna go through right now. Let's see. Jonathan X3, in the 7-day free trial, do we get to pull any list we want? So if you use the Propstream free trial, last time I heard, they're only going to max you out at 50 properties that you can pull off of their list. You can't go crazy, but once you purchase the software, purchase the surface, the software, the subscription or whatever, then you have the ability to pull up to 10,000 per month. So during the free trial, it's only 50. And it could be anything you want. Like you said, any list you want, but it's only going to give you a max of 50 that you can actually pull off of there and actually work with. But once you get the actual software and pay for it, then you have the access to an ability to get 10,000. But yeah, that's how that works with the free trial. This is the last one. I'll get into some calls real quick. Alex Mizo, what list has worked best for you, and what's your thoughts on pre-foreclosures? So the list, like I said before, the list that works best for us is high equity. And it's like a mix with high equity and tenant occupied, right? So we've been seeing a lot of people that we've been working with, they own a primary residence and they own a rental property. That's been the ones that we've seen the most success with. Now, when it comes to pre-foreclosures, those are highly, 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 highly motivated sellers. I haven't worked with one yet, but definitely, if you have access to the free pre-foreclosures, go for them, because you got to think about it. They need money. They're going to lose the house. They're highly motivated. Those are the ones that you want to jump on. You know what I mean? I think pre-foreclosures may be the most motivated out of everybody else, because at the end of the day, they can't afford the house, so they're going to lose it. They haven't been paying the mortgage on it. They're behind. Yeah, I like pre-foreclosures, but I haven't dealt with it myself. Let's see. Pancho. I called a homeowner who ended up having a realtor who took care of his house, sent them an offer, and they accepted. Now I had my contract, but she wanted to use hers. What do I do? Well, so that's the thing with working with realtors. right? So if you're going to wholesale the property and you working with on-market stuff, that's going to be the issue that you come across very, very often, because these realtors, they have their own rules and regulations and guidelines that they have to abide by in order to get to get the deals done, right? So if you calling people, that's why I stay away from on-market deals. I'm primarily off-market. I cut out the realtor BS and I go direct to seller. You know what I mean? I have control there. So when you're dealing with the realtor, you have to deal with their bullshit. Now, to be honest with you, I haven't dealt with the on-market deal with realtors before, so I can't really guide you into how you can navigate that, because they're thinking that you are the buyer, that you actually are going to buy the property. You know what I mean? They're not thinking, okay, this guy's going to wholesale and find a buyer. But what you can do, you can tell the realtor, once you get a buyer lined up. So if you have a buyer lined up for this particular property that's going to pay more than what the seller is selling it for, then I would tell the realtor, say, hey, I'm not buying the property. I have one of my partners. He's interested in buying it, or she's interested in buying it, but I would like to get a fee from it. What can we negotiate as far as the fee goes? And then you'll fill out some contracts, as they call it. I think they call it a marketing fee. So essentially you'll have a contract between you and the realtor, and then, the buyer will work with the realtor directly. And then once the property closes, then you'll get your marketing fee. But yeah, so I don't deal with on market shit because of the red tape. Not all realtors know or understand how wholesaling work. Not all realtors brokerages allow them to work with wholesalers either. So it just all depends. Everything is subjective. You have to understand. Now, if you're doing on market, I would suggest you work with a realtor who understands how to work with wholesalers. You know what I'm saying? That way you don't have to teach them, or, they're not comfortable working with you. You know what I mean? Because I have dealt with that before too. So it just all depends, man. All depends. Stay on the off market, man. Stay off market or deal with the bullshit. Can you explain what probate is, newbie? So probate is when, let's say, this seller passes away, and they pass away. They own this property. They passed away, and they have to give ownership. The property has to go in ownership of somebody else, an heir, somebody that's in the will, or whatever the case may be. So basically, what probate is the process of exchanging ownership from the deceased homeowner to the heirs, essentially, in layman's term. So I hope that makes sense. So if somebody passed away, it's the process of the new homeowner taking over ownership of that property. That's essentially what it is. That makes sense. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Let's see. Alchemy of Josh. When do you feel driving for dollars is appropriate? I recommend driving for dollars starting out, so you can understand what the market is looking like in your area. You can see what people are rehabbing. Okay, this house is getting fixed up. Oh, this house is getting fixed up. Shit like that. So you can have eyes in the city, or eyes in the zip code, or eyes in the area. So you can understand like what areas are growing. You know what I mean? So people are only going to rehab properties in areas that they know that this money could be spent there. So if you drive around and you see a lot of people working on houses, new constructions going up, those are pretty much good areas that you want to kind of work in and focus on too. You know what I mean? So definitely in the beginning, starting out, driving for dollars is very important, is very appropriate, so you can understand what's going on in your market. But I mean, if that's what your marketing source and that's how you find deals, do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say don't do it, but that's just my preference. And that's the thing about this game is it's all subjective. Everybody does things differently. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you have to do what works for Josh. I do what works for Property Jet. You know what I mean? So that's how you got to look at it. Let's see. Mark, I have an off-market deal, but seller telling me to contact their realtor. What do I do there? Well, you need to check to see if they... Oh, my earring go. I lost my earring. Damn. My bad, y'all. So one, you need to see if they're under contract with that realtor. If they're under contract with that realtor, then you will definitely have to go through that realtor to make your offer. But yeah, that's step one. See if they're under contract with the realtor. If they are, when does it expire? Things like that. Get the realtor's contact information. If you think it's a deal or you have a buyer that's interested, then, make the offer through the realtor. But typically me, that's what I'm doing. I'm asking, are they currently under contract? I'm checking on Zillow. I'm checking on Realtor, Redfin, Trulia. I'm checking on these websites to see if the property says for sale on these websites, because typically that means they're under contract with them. But if they're not under contract, then I'll ask the seller, I say, hey man, if I can give you an offer on it, a cash offer, would you accept that? You know what I mean? I want to and just be honest with them. Say, listen, my cash offers, you don't have to pay any realtor commission. So if I can get you the offer, it works for you. You can put more money in your pocket by not working with the realtor because you don't have to pay the realtor commissions. If I give you $100,000, I'm giving you $100,000. You see what I'm saying? If you're getting $100,000 from the realtor, then they got to take out their 6%. So you're only walking away with $94,000. So you have to make it make sense. You know what I mean? But that's how I would handle it. Let's see. My neighbor was in a pre-foreclosure. I wish I had known what wholesaling was back then. Hey man, you know now. Don't live in the past. It's time to move forward. Caleb, my guy, what do you say when a seller asks if you are just going to wholesale their house or doesn't want you to reassign it? Woo, that's a good one right there. So essentially, I don't tell them that we're going to wholesale it. I'll be like, hey, sometimes there are properties because there are savvy sellers that will ask you that. This came up to me before, not too long ago. But what I told them, I said, listen, there are properties that we may do that depending on the property. But in this case, this is a property that we're going to buy, that we're going to pursue. You know what I'm saying? And then that should level them up. Just be straight up. If somebody asks you, are you a wholesaler or do you wholesale? That means they have some knowledge of what the fuck is going on, right? So you need to be upfront and thorough, because at the end of the day, that's what's important. You can't lie your way around that shit. Just be like, hey, yeah, there are properties in which we do wholesale, but there's others that we take down. In this case, we're going to take this one down. We already have the funds ready for it. This is the price that we need to be at. And just kind of push them away from that wholesale conversation. You know what I mean? Like I just did there. We have the funds ready to go. We want to buy it. Our goals with this property is to, fix it up a little bit, put a tenant in there, raise the rent, put a tenant in there, hold on to it for the next 5-6 years, and then resell it later. So you have to, and that's where that gift of gab come in. I just made that shit up off the whim. You know what I mean? So you have to be ready for that shit when it comes up. You know what I mean? And just think like a buyer. What would your end buyer do? You doing the same shit. Just say you're doing the same shit. You know what I mean? This one, we're going to fix it up. We're going to flip it. We're going to resell it. You know what I mean? When you get to the closing table and they talking about it's an assignment, well, shit, at that point, are you mad that it's getting assigned, or are you happy about the money? You know what I mean? That shit shouldn't even matter. And then if something comes up at the closing table, you can just be like, hey, last minute, we decided to move it over to our other LLC. You can just make up a whole bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? It don't really matter. You just want to kind of avoid that conversation, but tackle it straight on. Be like, yeah, we do wholesale some properties, but in this case, that's not what we're looking to do. And you go from there. But I hope that helps, bro. Let's see. Blanco, no limits. How long did it take you to get your first deal? It took me about 5 to 6 months. 5 to 6 months, bro. 5 to 6 months. All right, let me get on some calls real quick because it's 4 o'clock now. So yeah, good questions, man. I just went through all y'all questions. It's wow. I'm gonna let the questions build up some more. If you got more questions, go ahead and put them in the question box and I'll get to them. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and do these calls. Damn, she had called me back too and I didn't even answer. Let me call her back real quick. Yeah, she called me back. Let me call her. Whoops.
Hello?
Hey, Miss Kathy. I missed your call, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I walked away from the desk for a second. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm liking the weather starting to change a little bit. It's getting a little bit warmer.
Yeah, it is, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. be cold out here, but it's not that bad.
Because that sun's shining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to hit you up real quick and kind of see what did you end up going back to we went to the courthouse?
No, I did, but I have not talked to them. I did when I had to go turn in some paperwork, but I did not. I forgot to even ask them about that petition.
Mm-hmm.
I did. See, can I call down there? Cause I tell you,
What?
You need to get resolved.
Listen, that's why I'm calling you, Miss Kathy.
I know.
But
I know.
You know, I mean, if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Like, we do this real estate stuff now, so if you need some help with this, let me know. We can figure it out.
Okay, I will do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Much, help with the real estate stuff as it is. Help with the family acting a fool.
What, they applying pressure to you?
Well, not that they, applying pressure to me. They think they supposed to bring all their problems to me, and I'm supposed to solve them.
Mm-hmm. Listen, they didn't. Who was that? Your mom? Who passed away? Who owned the house?
Yes, my mom.
Your mom wouldn't have put it in your hands if she didn't think you could handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I guess I can.
Yeah.
They need to convince me. Great.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to, I mean, whatever you need to get this thing done, we're here to help you out on it. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So
if I have a problem, I'm sure gonna take you up on it.
I'm telling you, we can deal with that probate petition stuff too. If you don't want to talk to the attorneys directly or whoever you're dealing with, that's what we can do if we need to. We've done that plenty of times.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Like when it comes to
Because it's just the family that's giving me the blues.
Mm-hmm. What's the main issue what they giving you blues about exactly?
Trying to make me do stuff. My sister want me to take the car from my son. Then she don't want to give me the jury back that I gave her as a part of the estate. And
yeah.
Whatever.
Do you think all that stuff will go away once the house is sold? All that nonsense.
Well, once the estate has been settled, yes, I think it's all gonna go away. But if it don't, I won't have to deal with it no more. Because I would not be responsible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have an idea when I guess this process will be done and you'll be ready to kind of move forward with actually selling it?
Well, I have up until a year to complete everything, and that'll be October.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to get it done before that, though, right? Way before that.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I sure am. Lord, don't tell me you ain't got my card.
Yeah.
I'm sitting this line all this time.
Yeah. So what we gotta do? What we gotta do to work with each other, Miss Kathy?
How you doing? Good. I think I left my card at home. Thank you. Okay. What'd you say?
I said, what I gotta do for you to work with me on this one? Once you get it figured out.
Go up a little bit more. Okay. I know you want to bring that conversation. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. What'd you say, Coach?
I said, what would I got to do? What we got to do to work with each other on this one once you get all that stuff situated?
Oh, well, you know the numbers got to be right. That's all you got to do.
I'm giving you a good number.
No, that ain't good enough.
I'll give you a great number.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
what you say?
I said, I'm giving you a great number for for how the house is sitting today.
Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You say you give me great numbers for the condition of the house?
Yes, ma'am. Because you got to think about it. Listen, check me out. Just listen. I want you to hear me out really quick, right? So I want you got some time to hear me out. A few seconds, hear me out.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm pumping gas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You say you pumping gas. Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, you want what? You said you wanted like 230, 235 or something like that?
Well,
So-
really, you know, I want 250, but but you said the house got to be in mint condition.
You gotta put some love into that, Miss Kathy. You gotta put some love into it. You really do.
Okay.
So, you know,
Okay.
not saying that you don't want to, but I mean, you dealing with your siblings and all that. That's nonsense. You don't want to deal with that. And that's extra time. That's extra time that you have to put into dealing with them on this property. So, like I said, I'm giving you, we're offering you a good amount for where it sits right now because I actually was able to go up to 218. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the max. That's going to be the absolute most that we can do on this house.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, but the houses in that area, they're selling for 235, 240, all fixed up. So so you got to look at it from the other side, right? Put yourself in my shoes real quick. Where are my sneakers for a second? So if you're looking to buy the property and the houses are selling for 240 at best, and I have to put work into it, there's not much profit for me there. So if you were to buy the house at 218 and sell it for 240, that
Stop
leaves
at 60, please. Stop at 60, please.
You hear what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So if you were to buy the property at 218, sell it for 240, you're making a $22,000 profit. But that's not including the amount of work that needs to be done to that house. So I mean,
Thank you.
You see,
No, sir. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, Ty.
yeah. You do I need to start over?
But you do need to go back a little bit. What did you say about them numbers?
I want to break the numbers down for you so it makes sense. So if you were to buy this house for $218,000 and the houses are selling for $240,000 fixed up, meaning pristine condition, you did new paint, new floors, kitchen, stainless steel appliances, the whole nine. Because that's what those houses are selling. That's what those houses look like that are selling for $240,000. And you told me that this house doesn't look like that, correct?
No.
Okay.
I ain't got no stainless steel appliances.
Okay, cool. So if you were to buy this house, I'm saying like put yourself in my shoes. If you were to buy this house at 218, fix it up, and you can sell it for 240, that leaves you at 22,000, right? But that's not including the amount of work we got to put into the house. Right. So let's say, because stainless steel appliances, you got to pay probably about $15 to $2,000 for a fridge and oven, $1,500. Right. Paint and flooring, that's probably gonna run you about $2,500 each. So that's another $5,000. So we're looking at $6,500 already on that. You know what I mean? So you take away that. Let's say $7,000 is what we need in repairs on a low number. So from that 22,000, you take away 7,000, right? That leaves us with what? 15,000. That's 15,000 in profit. Now, Kathy, if you were to sell this house, you have 15,000 in profit. You still have to pay real estate commissions when we sell it to an end buyer, 6%. So you take away 6% of that 15,000, we looking at $900.
Wait a minute, back up. Say that again. I still gotta pay real estate commission.
I'm saying if you put yourself in my shoes, that's how it's gonna work, right? So if you were me, right? If you were me, so you're buying the house at 218. You know that it sells at 240.
Okay. You saying you gotta pay real estate commission?
Right. Once we fix it up, once we sell it, so there's not enough room for profit at all.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand what you're saying.
Yes, so that's what I'm telling you, and I'm being completely frank. I'm being very frank and transparent with you. Like 218 is a really good number for this house in this area. I guarantee you that.
Okay. Well, yeah, it is. You know, I spoke to a friend of mine on Saturday, and her daughter has qualified for 250. So I show her pictures of the house. So she wants to see it, and we're gonna see what do she agree to take it to for 250 with no repairs, and then according to what her answer be, is going to kind of cue me that I ain't gonna be able to get what I want to get.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Because I spoke to another friend of mine, you know, from California, right? And I was telling her about the house, right? And I was telling her that I wanted 250 for the house, and she was like, "Oh, that's a steal." So I'm kind of, you know, don't know what to believe right now, but I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, listen, that lady in California, she don't know what's going on in Riverdale.
Look, she told me if she could buy it, she would buy it.
Well, tell her to send you the money then. If it's such a steal, why she ain't buying it? How about that?
Okay. Well,
Call her bluff.
We will see. We gonna see.
All right, when we gonna find out then?
As soon as I show it to this couple that qualified for 250.
Okay. When that's gonna be?
It's gonna be this week.
This week? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I'll call you next week then and see how that goes.
Okay, well, yeah, do that.
Okay. Listen, Miss Kathy, we've been talking for daggone 6 months now.
No, it ain't been that long, has it?
It's been since December, I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't think it had been that long.
Yeah, time flies, don't it?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It is flying.
Yeah, but I'll call you next week and see how that goes. But I'm being completely honest with you. 218 is the best we can do. That's cash. That's as is condition. No realtor commission. That's what you walking away with minus the mortgage.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna write them numbers just as soon as I have the chance to.
Mm-hmm.
See what it's like.
And it can't always be about money either, Miss Kathy. It's about relationships.
Oh, no, sir. No, business is about money.
Business is about relationships.
No, business is about, well, I guess that's why I'm not in business. But,
There you go.
they always tell me, you keep a relationship out of your business.
But relationships is what creates business.
Well, maybe it do help with business, but money is what it takes to do business.
Money ruins businesses and it ruins relationships if that's what's
It don't
important.
ruin business. Money is what it takes to do business. But okay, I'ma call you after I show them the house and see what they say.
Okay.
I'm gonna call you to know what they say, and I'm gonna run in here in this bank right quick.
Okay.
All right, so I'll talk to you later.
All right, Miss Kathy, you have a good day.
Thank you, you too,
All
and
right.
I appreciate that offer.
I look forward to working with you.
Okay.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
She a trip, ain't she? This Nard aunt.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah. Look, Nard even said, he was like, look, man, tell her it's either this number or the money off the table. Oh, Nard, he was listening. Hey, C, you see what I'm dealing with, man? I'm still on it though. You know what I mean? Cause I don't think them folks gonna pay $250 for it, man. I don't think they ain't. I mean, if they desperate, they probably would, but I doubt it. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Let's see. But yeah, I'm gonna save it on my story on my page for a little bit, but I'm gonna upload. He's fucked up talking that dumb shit. I'm gonna save it on my page for a little bit, then I'm gonna upload it to YouTube, the whole thing. But we're gonna reach out to her, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what's up. I'm patient, you know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. But we'll reach back out. But yeah. If y'all got any questions, go ahead and comment them. I'm gonna take on some more questions. How did you refer to yourself when cold calling before you started Property Jet? I work with an investment company. We're looking to buy some houses. Or I'm a local investor. I'm looking to get my first rental property. That's exactly how I kind of phrased it. And that's all you need to do. Don't overthink that part of it. You know what I mean? A lot of people won't even ask you. Let's see what else we got. Make some more calls real quick. I got something going on at 5. I'm going to try to pump through these as soon as I can. I think this dude sold this house real quick. Let me see. Pending. Oh, he got it pending. So he ain't sell it yet, but I'm going to go on to the next one and follow up with somebody else. Pardon me. If you guys got any questions, go ahead and comment them down in the question box. Alex Mizo, do you usually get your contract signed on the second call, or does it take longer than that? It just all depends, man. It all depends. It all really depends on when the seller is ready to sign at the end of the day. So if the seller is ready to sign today, then they may sign it today. If they're not, then they won't sign today. Sometimes you got to build a little bit more relationship with them, and things like that. But we'll see what happens. Let me see. I'm going to call this lead right here. See what's up.
Hello?
Hey.
Schaefer. Leave your message,
Oh, she got me.
and I'll call you as quickly as I can.
Got me with the whoop-de-whoop. The okie doke. I hate those voicemails. We're going to follow up with that one tomorrow. All right. So now I'm calling people that I haven't spoken to yet. Trying to get them on the phone, see if they want to sell. They spoke to our agents, but we haven't got them back on the phone since then. So a lot of that has to do with like timing and when we called and a whole bunch of different factors go into that. But at the end of the day, you just got to keep calling, man. Just keep calling.
Been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
As you forward my call, I'm going to call from a different number real quick because Let's see.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice.
All right, so she's not answering. Let me shoot a text real quick. You know what I mean? I'm gonna send a text. I like to send a text message after I call. Hey there. Hold on real quick. What's the name? Deborah. Hey there, Deborah. Wanted to see if you still had interest in selling now or in the near future. All right, send that out. On to the next one. We'll probably follow up with her tomorrow. Selling the house. All right, send. All right, on to the next one. Let's see what we got. What else we got? Let me go to these questions real quick. So, JC, does Podio integrate with CallRail? I believe so. But I think the better integration is with smartphone. Do smartphone with Podio because Podio owns smartphone, so it'd probably be a better. That's what we're switching over to. So integrated with smartphone. Relentless. When dealing with attorneys, do they do title search and closing? It depends on your market. So I'm in a attorney state. So our real estate attorneys, they're the ones that facilitate the real estate transactions. They act as a title company. So that's how it works here. But in other states, there may be just a title company that does all of that. So it just all depends on what state that you're in. So if you're in an attorney state or a title state, that's going to determine which, if an attorney does it or not. But in attorney states, the attorneys do the title search and the closings. Good question there is important. From the gutter, what's your strategy for lead gen? Our strategy is, I'm trying to see what you mean by strategy, but we cold call. But in terms of that, we just play volume. We do high volume. We're just trying to talk to as many people as possible and get as many leads as possible. So that's pretty much our strategy, for the most part. And then we cold call and then, we get those leads over. So that's how we generate our leads. What else we got? At least to you. Can you walk us through what your filters are on Propstream? So it varies. So, when it comes to my filters on Propstream that we use, if we're doing, it depends on what kind of list you're pulling. So your filters are going to depend on what you're trying to focus on. So if you want to do, if you're looking for, let's say, for example, if you're looking for property owners that have tenants, like let's say landlords, if you look for landlord sellers, then you will put non-owner occupied. You will put not vacant, obviously, because it's occupied by a tenant. Then you would do, square foot. You would do year built. You would do bed and baths. Put a filter on bed and baths. You would do off market. You don't want anything that's on market on the MLS, so you do off market there. You can also do like minimum amount of properties owned. So you can put if you want to find somebody that owns just 2 properties, you can put minimum 1 and maximum 2, or some shit like that. And then obviously the equity, right? You want to do an equity percentage of 50% or more. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much basic filters when it comes to certain shit like that. So it all depends on exactly what type of seller you're targeting when it comes to the filters. Now, if you want to do just vacant properties, broad, you can do vacant properties. Obviously, non-owner occupied, vacant. You can do absentee owners, out of state absentee owners if you want to niche it down a little bit more. If you want to add tax lien on there, you can add, vacant, out of state with the lien on the property. So there's different ways you can kind of tweak it and play with it. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. That's a whole nother thing. That's like a damn near hour conversation. Let's see. What's that? M. Saeed Bari, where do you get your leads from? We get our leads from Propstream. Propstream. If you want to try it out, I got a free trial and link in my bio. Tay, the investor, how many calls do you guys make a day on a dialer? What's your lead goal daily? When you're talking about cold calling, our agents, they call about 3,000 to 5,000 dials a day. As far as our lead goal, we want a minimum of, how many we want? Minimum of 3 leads a day, minimum 3 leads a day. We're very like a little bit lenient on that because we know we want quality. So, they're more so, our agents are more so focused on bringing in quality leads, versus just random shit when people say $1 million and all that. We're not pushing those over. But we're definitely pushing over the ones that are quality. So we're looking at a minimum of about 3 leads per day. And so you're looking at about 15 a week. So yeah, hope that answers your question. But they dial like 3,000 to 5,000 dials a day, 3,000 to 3,500, 3,000 to 3,500 dials a day. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Miss Tish Carter, I'm a new follower. How long did it take you to make your first deal? When did you start wholesaling? So it took me about 5 to 6 months to get my first deal closed. I actually started for like a month in 2019. 2019 was when I first started for like a month. Then I dropped it for whatever reason. I don't know if it was my other job or what, but I stopped doing it. And then I picked it back up in 2020 of September 2020. Then I got serious. And then I closed my first deal in April of 2021. But yeah, that's not fast to me. I was expecting to be closed in 30 days like everybody else, but you know, reality hit and I had to humble myself a little bit. Camp Demo, why did you start using a VA after your first deal and prompted that switch? Is it something you learned after your first deal or something you had in mind the whole time? So good question there. So it was definitely something that I had in mind the whole time because I got my first deal. The reason why I hired my VA is because I wanted to outsource the marketing. I didn't want to do the cold calling anymore. I wanted to talk to people who were actually ready to sell, and I just had to make offers. So you get into a situation or a position where you got a lot of leads and you still want to keep cold calling to bring in more leads, but then you come into a time predicament. Okay, well, how much time do I want to dedicate to cold calling to bring in new leads? Or how much time I want to dedicate to follow up, to make offers and get contracts on the leads that say, hey, Ty, I want to sell. So in order to eliminate that predicament, I said, let me hire a virtual assistant to continue doing my cold calling and my marketing for me while I focus on the leads that say, hey, Ty, I want to sell. I build those relationships. I make those offers. I get those under contract. That way you outsource your marketing so you can have more time to do what's more important, which is, well, marketing is important too, but what's important as well is to get people under contract and to make offers. So essentially, that's like the first role you want to hire out and source out is marketing. Whether it's SMS marketing you're doing, you can source that out to a VA. Or if it's cold calling, you can source that out to a VA. You know what I mean? So I had the foresight to say, hey, this is exactly the plan. So I don't have to have these issues like I had, you know, because I was working full time. So I was like, okay, how the hell do I cold call and make follow-ups? Something is going to drop off. So in order to keep everything up afloat, that's what hiring a VA did. But yeah, that was a good question, man. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. When they don't answer on call tools, can you send text through that? You can, but you have to pay for it. You have to pay for a certain number. that allows the text messaging through that particular number. So, and that's one thing that we're starting to look at too, because we started to notice on call tools, when we call a seller or call a whole bunch of sellers, we get about 8 to 15 people per day that send a text message back that says, can't talk, the normal iPhone automatic text message. They say, can't talk right now, call back later. Or, who is this? Or they'll send text messages back. So we get about 8 to 10 a day when we do that. So we're actually in the process of trying to figure out a way, not through call tools, because you got to set up the phone numbers a certain way to text them back, but to kind of pull that information off of call tools and then put it on a different platform and send them text messages to reach back out, because we have probably about 700 who sent us text messages from the past 3 months off of call tools. So we have to, I'm like, okay, if we got 700 that sent messages, that's opportunities that we're missing out on. Now that's a little bit deeper for people who are actually into the dialer and actually doing marketing or VAs or doing the cold calling themselves. So once you get to that point, then you'll start understanding and seeing what I mean by that. But yeah, so right now we don't text through call tools. We're still working on a way to extract those phone numbers and those contacts off of there and put them on a different platform and reaching out to them as well. We might hire a VA to do that. Yeah, that's something that we're thinking about doing, man. We just brainstormed that like last week. Let's see. Mizo, do you have the upgraded version of Podio or just the regular one? The upgraded version. Got to get the upgraded version of Podio, man, if you want to maximize all the options and shit. You know what I mean? Everything that you have, the features. What's your thoughts on getting VA starting out? So my thoughts on it is this, and I'm going to keep it funky with you. I'm going to keep it real. A lot of people want to get these VAs, but they don't understand how to train or coach. They don't understand, they haven't been through the fire. So if you haven't been through the shit, how can you teach somebody else to go through the shit? You know what I'm saying? Now, can you get deals and shit like that just by hiring a VA and just letting them do their thing? Possibly. But how do you know that they're not doing a good job? You know what I'm saying? How do you know how to coach them if you don't know what situations that they're going to encounter? So I did my cold calling for like 6 months myself. So I understood, okay, this is what a seller's going to say. This is what I can say to rebut that. These are all the situation scenarios that can come up, and this is how you can handle it. Now I have that knowledge and that information I can pass on to my VA and teach and coach and train and educate to make them better. So if you just starting out and you hiring a VA and you don't even do the cold calling or anything or the marketing or the SMS and you expect them to do everything for you, it's not going to work out long term. You know what I mean? Because you have to be ready. When you start hiring people, you have to be ready for leadership. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a leader. You know what I mean? So, and a leader is somebody who is willing to get in the mud if they need to. You know what I'm saying? And when your VAs see that, okay, or they see you doing it and so here's the thing. Here's how you get called out on that shit. Watch. So what we do when we bring our VAs on, right? We'll when we start training and coaching, we'll play some calls that we've had before that we made, or we'll get on the dialer right then and they can hear us live and how we talk to the sellers. You know what I'm saying? And when they see that, they be like, oh, damn, these dudes know exactly what the fuck they doing. So they have more trust into what we say versus if you get on there and you get on the dialer, you get murdered by a damn seller and you don't have no rebuttal and you got your foot in your mouth because you don't know how to handle the situation. So it's literally the best way to put it is the blind leading the blind at the end of the day. So I always suggest and recommend you go through the fire, learn first, create a system, you know what I mean, that works. And when I mean by system, I mean where are you getting your information from? Where are you pulling your data from? What are you using to put the data in? What are you using to call them? What is your meetings looking like? What are your training looking like? So you have to have a system when it comes to hiring out. Now, like I said, if you want the shit to last long term, that's what you want to do. But if you want it for the short term, go ahead and hire a VA. It's just not going to be effective. And you'll be wasting money at the end of the day because you don't know, how to pull out their maximum performance. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I was just wanting a little rant on that. But yeah, I hope that makes sense, man. Hope that makes sense. Let's see. Humble by the process. When you send out offers, which platform you use? We use DocuSign. Mrs. Tish Carter, do you wholesale locally or have you ever gone out of state? If so, which is most successful? Right now, I'm only focused in my state, in my metro area for the most part. Going out of state is down the line, but right now we want to kind of maximize what we can do in our market. There's a lot of opportunity here. It doesn't make sense to go out anywhere else just yet. So right now we just staying in our state. So I don't know, we may go into another state, maybe next year, maybe, but who knows? You know what I mean? You can make a lot of money in the same states as long as you maximize how you're marketing to people, your creativity on reaching out to people and shit like that. So it just all depends. A lot of people think they just want to jump into other states just because it's sexy, but nah, it sounds good. Let's see. From the gutter, where do you skip trace your leads and how much you pay on average per month? Well, they're not leads. They're property addresses. They're property records, prospects, however you want to call it. But we skip trace through batchskiptracing.com. Now we don't do it on a monthly basis. We do it probably maybe every other month, bi-monthly, maybe once a quarter. So when it comes to that, we probably paying anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500 for 10,000 addresses skip trace. Hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. Let's see. Where did you get your VA and did you train them yourself? Thoughts on Start Virtual? Yeah, we got our VAs from a Facebook group called REVA, REVA, stands for Real Estate Virtual Assistants. And we did train them ourselves. But we got a virtual assistant that was already experienced when it came to wholesaling specifically. The only thing that we had to do was, my guy O'Neal, what's good? Hey man, if y'all not following O'Neal, man, y'all better tap in with the dude. He killing it. But yeah, so what we did, we trained them ourselves. Right? So only thing we had to train them on is our script, what our operation looked like, what our expectations were. But they already had the idea and the concept of what wholesaling was because they worked with other companies before. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Thoughts on Start Virtual. And I mean, it just all depends, man. I have some people, like people in my Unity group, my Discord group, they're killing it in California, right? They closing deals in California. But I've heard people complain about how tough California is. But I'm sitting here looking like, bro, this dude just closed like 2 deals this month in California. So, it just all depends, man. If you want to do virtual, that's on you. It's all, subjective. You know what I mean? It's just like, why do you want to go virtual? What's the reason on why you want to go virtual? I feel like you can do a lot in your market, particularly, unless you live in like North Dakota and ain't shit going on there. Then that makes sense to do something virtual. But, if you are going to go virtual, I highly suggest you go into hot ass markets where people are active and buying shit and flipping shit and the market is going up and there's a lot of growth in those markets, things like that. Yeah, that's why everybody want to go virtual because it sounds good. That's a fact. You know what I mean? But you can do a lot. You can do a lot of damage in your own backyard, man. And I mean, granted, I am in Atlanta, so I don't have the experience from somebody that lives in Wyoming. But, if I were in Wyoming, I ain't gonna lie to you, my ass would probably be going to another market too. But when you go virtual, you just gotta make sure you got your team in place. You gotta really gotta have the connections and the network. So if you're afraid to get out there and talk to people and network with people, then it might not be a good fit for you. Hell, this industry alone might not be a good fit for you if you can't get out of your own way and get out of and start networking and talking to people, because this game is all about relationships, man. And you got to talk to people. You can't do it through text messages all the damn time. I promise you, it's not going to work out. The people that are really, really moving and shaking, you better get them on their phone and talk. If you want buyers that's legit, hey, you better call them. Talk to them. Don't be afraid of that. I just went on a little tangent there, but it's all good. Let's see. Miss Tish, I haven't been in this a while. What's the best marketing plan for gaining leads? It all depends on your budget, depends on what you're comfortable with, things like that. For me, I like cold calling first and foremost because it's proactive. We're getting people immediately. We're not waiting for people to respond to us. It's not reactive marketing. I like cold calling because that part is proactive. I like it because it's easy to scale. It's not expensive. And those are the main things. And I like coaching it. I can coach it very well. That SMS, you can do SMS if you want, but there's a lot of rules and regulations that's coming into play with the SMS. So you have to be very creative and specific when it comes to that. You can do direct mail. Direct mail is effective as hell. Like, I think it's like, I can't remember the stats on it. I had some stats on direct mail, but the conversion rate on direct mail is pretty high, but at the same time, it costs a lot of money. You can do social media, Facebook marketing and all that shit, Google ads and all that. It just all depends on what your budget fits and what you're comfortable with doing. But it has to make sense. You know what I mean? So you got to figure it out. And it took me trying different things to figure out what worked. I tried direct mail. I tried SMS. Cold calling, I tried it. Facebook ads, I tried it. That shit didn't work for me. Cold calling was the one that was the best for me, and that's what I stuck with. And we've been killing it ever since. Let's see. Kazan Energy, what's been the most effective list you worked with? I mentioned this a few times already. The most effective has been like high equity. But with high equity is primarily the seller profile has been a seller who owns just two properties, their primary residence and like a rental property or a vacant property. So primarily that vacant property or that rental property is the ones that we've been buying and the ones that they've been selling. So that's been the most effective lately. Let's see. What else we got? Mr. Billionaire Flips. When you JV a deal, do both parties sign a contract? How does that process work? Yeah, so essentially when you JV a deal, so let's say I'll come to you, Mr. Billionaire, and I say, hey man, I got this seller under contract. I need you to find a buyer for me, or you agree to find a buyer for me. Before you start hunting for that buyer, we put a contract in place. The contract is a JV contract between you and me that states, hey, if you bring a buyer to the table, you get, whatever the percentage is. Typically, JVs are 50-50. You know what I mean? So you put that contract in place. That's between you and me. You do not find a buyer until you have the shit in writing. You know what I mean? You do not go try to find a buyer until you have it in writing. And then once you find a buyer, then you just, once you find a buyer, you let me know, hey, we got the buyer. And then we send all the documents over to the title company and they do they title search and shit like that. You can send the JV contract to the title company as well. That way, you can get your bread. You're more comfortable getting your bread. But at the end of the day, it's all about relationships, right? So you have to catch a good vibe from the person that you're working with. And hopefully, since it's under contract, then they're obligated to pay you that 50-50 split. So that's why I said get it under contract first before you actually start doing the work. But yeah, that's how it works for the most part. It's pretty simple. See what we got. Got another one here. Once you get a seller under contract, do you immediately stop calling sellers and start calling buyers until you find one? Or do you try to have a few buyers lined up in case the first buyer flakes? So it just depends on how your operation is right now. You know what I mean? So if you're a one-man show, then obviously, yes, you want to, once you get a property under contract, you want to be that's when the hustle turns on. That's when the hustle really turns on because you're looking for a buyer. But at the same time, you want to dedicate some time to follow up with sellers, you know what I mean, to get some more properties under contract, So your ability to multitask is going to determine how successful you can be in this game. So yes, once you get a property in the contract, you want to, hey, I need to find a buyer. Urgency need to be at an all-time high trying to find a buyer. But at the same time, you still want to dedicate some time to following up with your seller leads and continue to build that pipeline, because you can probably get another one under contract versus working one at a time. You can start working two at a time. You know what I mean? And you really start turning your game up then. I hope that helps, man. Let's see. Wavy Geo, when do you plan to start getting houses for yourself? So, good question, man. Me and my partner, we've been talking about it a lot. We've been learning about, hard money, private money, funding, all that different shit, creative finance and everything. So our goal this year was definitely to start taking some properties down ourselves. And that's the beauty of wholesaling, right? So if you're able to you're able to get to the properties first and see, okay, is this a good fit for a flip? Is this a good fit for us to take down ourselves? Or should we wholesale it? You have the opportunity to select what you really want to do with the property.